Dude, our cannabis products are tested more heavily than the food we eat.
For real?
Yes. Like 300 times harder.
Like they're just held to a higher standard
Yes.
than our own food?
Correct. They are held to not even like a little bit, but like to a really high standard.
Damn,
Like
so
way
like,
higher than food.
so you're telling me I'm more likely to get something from like the food I'm eating than like smoking
Yes.
some pot?
Correct. Guaranteed. The legal cannabis companies that are licensed, moving through Metric, get it from distribution, have COAs, is like literally healthier than the food we eat.
That's awesome and terrifying at the same time.
It's expensive. It's like $300 for a batch test. That's like what you're looking at.
And how much is a batch typically? Like
50 pounds of flour is a minimum batch, which is quite a bit. But like if you're talking about these big companies, it starts getting kind of pricey, you know. So it's
so who's responsible for that? So like, is it the person who grows it or the person who decides to distribute it that has to test it?
so that is the biggest question I've always wanted to know. Because I think that there are contracts that go into place sometimes that put the manufacturer or the cultivator at the disposal of the test. But technically, the way the law works is the final packaging has to get the test done. So, and that has to go through distribution. It has to get quarantined while the test is getting done. So it has to be put into a locked room that's like special for quarantining product. And then once the lab test comes back, oh, and by the way, they take 2.5% of whatever you have. So if you have 50 pounds, they take 2.5%.
That's the batch.
That's the batch test.
Yeah.
So what they do is they put it, literally the law says that you have to put it all out on a table for them to see everything at one time. And what they do is they're like, this one, I'm going to take this handful here.
What?
Yeah, that's how it works. And that's how they wanted to do it, because back in the 215, what people were doing was they'd break off the top of their plant, which is like the highest testing part of it. So like the most common testing was like, people were like, oh, well, this is 28%, 27%. It's like, well, that was coming from the top of the plant. So what testing does now in distribution is they take a random bunch.
They don't want like the creme de la creme fire. They want the average.
They want the average.
They
So
want
they
a
take
high average.
random parts of the plant.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah. So
I mean,
it gets
sucks,
a lot
but
more,
like, you know,
yeah, a lot more even distribution of what you're doing.
and you don't get that 2% back. Like it's,
No, that gets burned. At the
Oh,
end of it, what they
shit.
do is they incinerate it. That's how they find the heavy metals.
what the fuck? So does it have a degree of heavy metals in it?
No, I mean, some plants, it's the lowest fail rate for the plants. Like you can actually go onto the BCC's website right now and pull a record of all of the, and actually this might be proprietary, I'm not sure. They might just send it to operators, but it shows a list weekly. It sends it weekly of all the products like that failed testing, what products failed for testing. And it also shows you what licenses got approved, denied, or revoked.
Oh,
and they send that
damn.
out to all the operators weekly.